enough procrastination, enough of all excuses that we have been giving to ourselves. We are not actually depressed, we are just in different phase of life. I think so many times we categorize ourselves as the speedy self that don't have anything to look out for in life because life is just happening to us. And if we were to be somewhere else, everything would just be perfect. But what we don't actually realize that every single situation has its own endeavors, and sometimes it's best to see what kind of situation we are in and what kind of endeavors we are dealing with instead of labeling our current state of life as I am depressed, I have a depressed life. And it is true that you can feel depressed. Yes, depression is absolutely true. I'm not one of those type of people that thinks depression is not true. Depression is true. However, when you decide to lung yourself in that state of depressive mood, constantly fantasizing about what life is so hard and how your bad decisions are haunting you today and you can never get out of that situation, these things is just making my life worse. Everything is going to be worse. Why? Because your thought is infatuated with all other component of what it means to have a sad life. Therefore, whatever you approach to things, you cannot think about any positive except that my life is hard and this thing is just making my life harder. This is a pessimistic way of living and it's not actually healthy. And as Muslim, it's very sad if you have Islam and still live in a perpetuated cycle of a depressed life, not having any sort of aspiration of the future and kind of accepting that this is just my life. Today, I wanted to explore this topic because I think nowadays we have more opportunity to inflict in ourselves of bad things than the good stuff. Even though we can approach good things, we can do more good things, but we have more opportunities which are so negative that perpetuated us in this cycle of afflicting our own wounds. And that comes with if you're watching a video of somebody on YouTube or on TikTok that is explaining their life past trauma, you long yourself inside to go along and start talking about it as well. And I'm not talking about it as if a way of healing, but constant talk in negative mood, revisiting your past wound does not help. It doesn't help because what are you going to do about it? Is just in the past. However, if you choose to move forward, you choose to look something forward, you choose to leave it there, you choose to make it part of your life experience, then things will be fine and you start to look forward to new things in life. I don't really know where this video is going, but lately I've just been thinking about how much of stages in my life I've labeled myself depressed, where I wasn't depressed, it was just a phase. Every single one of us will go through different phases in our life. Some of us are in our 20s and we are figuring out how life is and what we're trying to acquire about our career, what we really want to do in our life, and don't want to waste this precious time. We have the anxiety of time limit. And some of us are in our 30s and we feel like, holy crap, I've done absolutely nothing. How can I catch up? And some people, they just starting to understand their teenagehood of what it means to be a woman and going to college and stuff like that. So you will go through different phase in life, and these different phase will encompasses different circumstances such as education, marital life, parent situation, family state, financial crisis, economic crisis, all of that. And it's a whole freaking journey. So if you were to just label yourself as I am depressed instead of this particular part of my life is just a phase, you're gonna stuck in that depressive mode. However, looking at your life circumstances as just a phase, you're gonna be thinking about what will be the next phase. How can I deal with this phase so that I don't face the same struggle the next phase, or I learn to deal with it in the next phase of your life. And I think that's just the optimistic way of living. If you're in this state of I feel depressed and my life is hard, life is happening to me, I have absolutely no charge of where I'm going, you're not depressed. You are inflicting your own wounds by constantly revisiting those traumas, reevaluating circumstances around you, recalibrating negative thoughts, and this is the main issue. And nobody is saying that your life isn't the way it is. I'm not for those people that try no matter what to make things all positive. I am not those kind of people. For me, I believe that it's okay to see your life the way that it is. If you don't have good financials, you're not in good financial state, it's best to admit that and trying to figure out how you can make sure that in the next upcoming 3 to 4 years you plan a journey to be in that financial state that you want instead of closing your eyes and saying that, well, being rich doesn't bring happiness, so I just stay. Like, it's not about that. And also, if you're in an environment that is not well suited for you, what you want, where you want to be in, don't blind yourself and be delusional about being. If you're not in a mansion, why would you be waking up and deluding yourself that you're in a mansion? It doesn't make sense. You're gonna feel more terrible. Why? Because you're not connecting with your reality, saying that you are not in the mansion. You're living in an apartment, and that apartment is surrounded with so many homeless people. Live with that reality, face that reality, and still work towards the future that you want. And I guess the problem is many people don't want to face the reality. They want to live in the state of delusional by believing that they are there. But in reality, you have to face your realities in order to create the path to get to where you want. So if you're not in the mansion, don't hype yourself that you are, don't delude yourself to think that you are in a mansion, because if you believe that you are in the mansion, then you will be blinded to see how your current state is affecting you, or you will be blinded to think about how you can do to move out of that state. So I'm not all about deluding our mind to make us feel that it's better where we are. I believe that it's best to face reality and still work towards the best. So I just want to say that you are just in the phase of life. Life does not happen to you. You are reacting towards it. You're responding towards it. So whatever situation you are in, look at it as a phase. This is a phase of my life. Some people, for example, I am in my academic phase. Do I hate myself for not going out or not enjoying some party somewhere else? I couldn't even care less about that. Why? Because that's just not part of the phase that I'm in. If I want to, I could do it, but it doesn't give me the satisfaction that I want if I were to sit and do one of my course lecture or do a study. And that doesn't mean I wouldn't want to enjoy a nice out with friends or with families. No, it would be, but for now, it's just not part of my plan. So I don't hate myself for not going out or pity myself or constantly nagging myself out, because I know that this a phase of my life that I'm in, and that requires dedication and commitment and focus and resilience. So I don't hate myself for that. So stop hating yourself for the things that you cannot do. And because you're in a current state where you have to preserve yourself. And that comes with, for example, if you have financial plan, you want to save up to 100K for this year, you have to live drastically different from people who spend recklessly, who go out and spend huge amount of stuff and accumulate that. You have to consider all those stuff. You have to change your behavior to suit the outcome that you want. So it's all about giving and take and the trade-off that you want to make, which might be meaningful to you. So if you want to get into that financial state, then know that you have to make sacrifices. And that means forsaking those eating out, forsaking taking credit card debt, forsaking stuff so that you can be able to save 100K you desire. I'm going to stop right here because, and then my final thought is yes, you are just in the phase of life. It's going to be fine. Remember the time where you thought everything was going to go left and everything turned out to be on the right side. So this is the time right now to reflect on the past journey and see that this is also a new journey and it's not the end of the world. It's going to be better.